Welcome to this week's edition of the mma-analysis podcast. It happened. It actually happened.
What do you mean it actually happened?
This is the greatest. If I would have told you, a year ago, 2 years ago, that not only does Brazil now have two champions, that those two champions are Glover Teixeira and Do Bronx. Beautiful. Absolutely. If you would have said that 2-3 years ago, someone would have said you were absolutely crazy. And it wasn't even hard. Glover dominated every second of that fight. It was not Glover-esque.
No, it was a little surprising.
He meant business. He's like, I'm not going to fuck around and, come from behind on this one. I'm just going to take it right off.
It was a serious fight. It was for the title.
You know what it was, is he knew that after he won, they were going to take a bunch of pictures of him with the belt. So he's like, all right,
got to be clean.
Can't take any shots. Can't get all marked up for this one. So he just, he did what the greats do.
Yep. And, and I know we were biased, but I was so shocked by the line in general. Like, plus 270 is what I got Glover at. And Jan isn't some dominant champ. He was a 37-year-old journeyman who got in a very good position against an overrated Dom Reyes, and then he fought a middleweight who can't wrestle. And Glover's path there was clear. He was the better wrestler going in. He was the better wrestler coming out.
Yep. We said it when Glover won earlier in the year, and we knew that he was going to get the next title shot. We said, this is actually a guy that he could beat.
Yeah.
Either of the guys that won the Jan-Izzy fight. I think Izzy would actually be tougher because he'd be harder to get your hands on, but it's...
Well, since John left the division, the division, I think we've been saying since he left, it's one of the most open divisions where anyone can beat anyone on any given night, and there's not that dominant champ. And I think, we love dominant champs. I think everyone likes dominant champs. See what happens, and especially exciting ones. But when you have every single title fight that's going to happen in that division, anyone can win. And everyone's always saying, oh, Glover's not the best in that division. No, you got Garry. You're telling me he can't do exactly what he just did to Jan, to Garry? Maybe Jan's probably a better wrestler.
And Jan doesn't put himself in stupid positions like Garry will.
Yeah, that's going to be a classic Glover. This was champion Glover. That
Glover.
Fight's going to be classic Glover where we know what's going to happen.
Well, we did have that moment in the second round where Jan landed. It didn't even look like the cleanest. Landed like one punch and Glover like stumbled back a bit and then like takedown. It's like the best instinctual wrestler who has ever lived is Glover Teixeira. And what a moment too. Like, I think everyone kind of like forgot about the best, forgot everything. Like seeing that moment, it was different. Everyone talked about Randy Couture and how he won it when he was a billion years old. It's hard to compare that. He was facing random dudes in the UFC, which was a different time back then, right? Like it was just different, especially at heavyweight.
He also won a belt before that.
Yes,
multiple.
Yeah, but it was just different. Like it was prime. Like it's UFC in 2021. I know UFC caliber is a thing that we don't really talk about anymore because it's not true. But the upper echelon of the UFC in each division has never been better. When you look at the top 10 of every division, like for the most part. So super.
Well, maybe it's been better at light heavyweight, but
well, yes, heavyweight obviously doesn't count at all. But it was just impressive for someone at that age with everything that he had been through, all the fights that he had lost. Like we were talking 4 years. 4 years ago, Glover was done. It was like he had lost a couple fights, and then it was the Roberson fight. He's getting just manhandled and absolutely just hammered. And then that's where it was like born of like, oh, this guy, you can't kill him. And then it just carried on. And it was kind of like similar to the Do Bronx story as well, where it was a guy that couldn't get to that next level. He had the title shot earlier, but he couldn't jump to that next level to be considered like the best. And man, it was awesome. And Glover, just about the nicest dude ever. Like you'll never see a champion that more people love, both in the UFC, fighters, coaches, everyone. Like you could tell, like even the announcers and everyone was like so happy that Glover won. Like anyone who bet against Glover, regardless if you think he had no chance, that's a fight you just pass. If you think he's going to, you pass it. You root for the moment in certain things.
There were a lot of people that bet against Glover too. It's
how you laying 3-1 on that,
right?
It's why we will continue to get. We have got and continue to get Glover at plus 200 against flawed fighters.
Have they shown a line yet?
That are good, like not horrible matchups for him.
Have they put a line out yet?
No.
For the year, it's funny because Rakic, he's the boring one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's calling out
Yuri.
He's like, why don't you want to fight me, bro?
It's like, what are you talking about? Shot? You're gonna have a shitty rematch against Anthony Smith for no fucking reason.
Yeah,
and then Smith gets hurt, and now he tries to get the guy that's gonna get a title shot. Like, what are you doing?
Guys like Rakic don't get it. It's for guys that have boring styles, and you're trying to earn your shot or earn big fights through Twitter or things you say. That's a 1 in 1,000 type guy. A guy who can be boring in the cage, but outrageously popular. Chael Sonnen, being a prime example. Not an exciting fighter. Boring guy. Got on top. Didn't do much. He was that 1 in 1,000 that he could literally talk his way to title fights because he was so popular. That's just in Colby in a way, and I don't think Colby's the most boring fighter by chance. And he's good, but people want to see Colby fight. Want to see him lose, a lot of the time. And that's how Chael was. Chael had a very divided fan base. You had people that loved Chael and you had people that hate Chael. There was none in between. And really that's what you want. Connor's like that as well. And where we see guys, even champions like an Usman. Like, why is Usman not more popular? Well,
nobody cares.
It's like, now he's saying, I want to fight Canelo. Let's the pound for pound best in both sports fight. Come on.
I don't care. I mean, he'd get wrecked, and that would be hilarious. But I don't even care to see that.
No, it's just funny to highlight, what might be the number 1 pound for pound fighter in the UFC begging for a boxing fight so he can actually get paid. I mean, it just makes the UFC look bad. That's the only thing it's annoying when all these fighters do this shit, but it also spotlights how fucking terribly they're paid.
It won't stop. And like, it's obviously the money grab. We know all of that, but like, when Usman says this kind of stuff, right? He must know that he has 0.0% chance of winning, and he would literally just like die in a cage. He has to know that, right? Or are these guys so trapped in their MMA bubble, and that because Daniel Cormier is announcing his fight and saying his boxing has improved, that he thinks he can outbox Canelo Alvarez?
I think it's basically fight week, and he might get pay-per-view points, and if he can pull in a couple suckers that see his name, that's what he's praying for. I'm not saying it works. That's what he's praying for. Get your name in the headlines. That's about it.
Well, let's jump into last week's card, which it had some good, it had some bad, it had some ugly. I know I ended up having a massive night, but I also whiffed on a lot of big dogs that were must play. But I ended up Glover was just a massive one there, and then I hit a few other ones. But we can go ahead and go through the card real quick. A lot of decisions on this card. There was a bit of a rut through a lot of this card. We had to earn our way to those last 2 fights at times. But we started in the flyweight division. We had Tagir Ulanbekov defeating Allan Nascimento by split. I don't know. I understand why that fight is scored for Ulanbekov because that's how MMA is. But thought Nascimento did more to win a couple rounds in the cards.
Yep.
He definitely won the second round. Definitely.
And the first.
And yeah, I thought he won the first as well. But in MMA, he's not going to get that round. But
especially in. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Lance, did you say this card went through a rut, or did you say there was a lot of ruttions going on there?
A rut.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I don't know. I understand. And as a wrestler and someone who roots for wrestlers, if you're on top, you're losing the fight. And I get that in a way, right? Like, if you're losing the fight, if you know that's the outcome, stand up, get up. And if you can't, that's your fault. Like, I also on there. But I thought this was a pretty severe way of looking at it because Ulanbekov did nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing. And Nascimento threatened several times. He was, I don't really count the ground strikes on bottom as much. I'm not a big fan of that. It's like, whatever, get the fuck up and throw punches. But the subs, the sweeps, like things like I thought he was doing a little more. And what did we get? 10-1 on Nascimento? That was worth a stab there on the sub.
Yeah, Nascimento sub. Yeah,
he was close to
I don't think we'll get that big of a number when he fights again.
I liked him. I liked him a lot.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Middleweight division, Andre Petroski defeated Hu Yaozhang, submission, third round, arm triangle. Never in doubt, Petroski inside the distance. That was one of the easiest bets I've ever cashed. Never worried for a second.
He's very gassy. I don't know if he's actually good, eh?
Well, his wrestling is good. He's got to figure out this cardio. But I'll give him a little bit of a pass on – he knows he has to work on his cardio. You got to give him a little bit of pass considering he took this fight on 10 days' notice. That wasn't enough time to have a full camp, even if he has been working on his cardio and stuff. But have you noticed that there's a bunch of guys who we consider bad cardio gassers that get tons of third-round finishes? There's a bunch of guys – I don't understand it.
It might be the guys that they're facing.
But wouldn't you think, like, they're facing bad guys? Yes, but they're getting stronger in the third round. Derek Lewis, right? The king of third-round finishes.
I just think it's the guys that they're fighting getting shittier and shittier that they're not able to fight off the wrestling and the grappling, because he had those positions earlier in that fight, but he wasn't getting them until the guy he was fighting, who's 3-3 now.
I mean, even when he was gassed, like the times on the feet weren't great, but he was getting
hit.
But he's a horrible striker anyway.
And honestly, he landed just about every punch he threw on that guy. That guy was very bad.
Very bad. Yep. But I will say, when he was on top in that second round, even when he was gassed, once he got on top in the third round, he did not seem as gassed. He seems to gas himself out by striking, not grappling, which makes sense, right? He didn't seem gassed in that third round. He was working, he was transitioning, easy takedowns, throwing punches, constantly going for subs. And I think it's just the comfort. And I think it's your body feels different ways when you're doing things. And if you've wrestled, you get to that point where you're the most tired human in the world, and then you grapple for an hour. So your body just gets used to those movements. And even if you're gassed, you're just naturally going through those movements.
Yep.
So I don't think it's horrible. I mean, if this guy cleaned up his cardio, he could be really good. Some guys' wrestling doesn't transition to MMA very well. His does. His wrestling transitions very well to MMA. He's just how he finishes. He doesn't stop. He follows through his takedowns. He's driving, power doubles. Like he has good wrestling for MMA. And if he gets that cardio in place, he can be good. He's strong as fuck. He's a brute.
My favorite bet, aside from Glover on this card, was somehow after winning the first round, like dominating the first round, he was minus 110 live. I'm just like,
everybody thought he was going to gas after
that
first.
Yeah, I'll take some of that.
You're gassed until you're on top. Then you're not tired anymore because you get you also get adrenaline when you get that takedown. You're in a position you feel good. You get something, right? You're tired. Oh my god, I don't want to strike anymore. This is going bad. You get that takedown and you're rejuvenated. Like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah, this is your world.
Yep.
You should excel. Yeah.
I like Petroski. I don't think he's a world beater, but if this guy cleaned his cardio up, I think his striking's bad, but he actually lands punches at the same time. His defense is bad. He's a bit wild. He's throwing wide punches, but he does strike enough to get the takedown, I guess I would say.
And he seems to hit hard as well.
Yeah, he's fucking massive. The guy's a truck. Yeah. He's like 185. He's like Bader kind of. He's a little Bader-ish. Almost every way. I like him. Anyway, Laurel Murphy defeated Makwan Murakami by knee. That was awesome. Everyone was like just loving each other on Twitter after the first round. I can't believe Makwan was 3-1. Oh my god, I'm dog. I'm hitting it and dead. It was great. Phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Yeah, it obviously does make you question when Murphy fights somebody who can consistently wrestle and also doesn't have to panic wrestle like Amir Khani.
Yeah.
But that was phenomenal timing on that knee.
I don't believe in luck. I'm not a big believer in it when it comes to like MMA, for example. That wasn't luck. He got that finish. Everyone keeps saying he landed a lucky shot.
No,
it wasn't a lucky shot. You could tell he was training for that exact moment when he shot that low. takedown, and the knee came right up. It was instinctual. He knocked him out. That wasn't luck. That was a good finish. I thought that was a good win for Murphy. We'll see what happens next. He's British. He's going to have these rounds where he gets taken down and laid on, but he's good.
Brad's not sold.
I'm not sold.
I'm not sold, but he's good.
He's good. He just gets put in a lot of bad spots, and if
British.
he starts to fight better guys, that's he's not going to be able to crawl his way out. But
Khamzat Chimaev just doesn't fight wrestlers ever, so maybe he could just never fight a wrestler again and do that route.
that's possible. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Michael Olakandi defeated Shamil Gamzatov, knockout first round. That other guy sucked.
Yeah, that
Russian.
is a fraudulent Russian.
That was a knockout, though. That was a mean.
Awesome.
Murphy didn't get a bonus.
Really?
Yeah, he didn't get a bonus.
That's what happens when you let yourself lose for a round before you land an awesome knockout.
That knockout was good. Old Olakandi. I saw Dana White today bragging about how that was the most views ever on ESPN Plus. Not mentioning it was a pay-per-view that he gave away for free.
Yep.
Only the part that it was the most viewers ESPN Plus had for MMA. So, congrats, Dana. If you give away pay-per-view quality cards for free, you get more viewers. I wouldn't have guessed that. I wonder how much money they had to spend to come to that outcome. Research and development, marketing, analytics. There's a lot of stuff that goes into figuring that out. So, congrats, Dana. If you put 2 title fights on a free card with a bunch of huge names on it, people will watch. All right. Welterweight division. Elijah Dushku defeated Benoit Saint Denis. A lot of controversy here. Hot take. Didn't care if the fight was stopped. Enjoyed watching the beating. Really upset they took a point away for no reason.
He barely even landed that knee to the nuts. That was more of a shin to the shin rubber. I think fucking Denis was just a little tired after getting his brain scrambled.
Denis got his ass whipped, but he came back and he was throwing punches. He wasn't a zombie. He was dead. He came in the third round. He was landing shots. He was.
Now, Lance, you're supposed to have your torch and your pitchfork out for the ref. He's supposed to die. He's a bad man.
No, he fought back.
To be fair, Lance does not care about the future well-being of any of these fighters.
The guy was. Did you know that he was French Legion?
That's fine. That's fine to have that take, but that should have been stopped.
I've seen like 50 times worse. Like, he was fighting back. He was throwing punches. The third round started. He seemed okay. He had his wits about him. Dos Santos had to start wrestling because he was getting lit up. Like, it wasn't like
Dos Santos was tired from beating the shit out of that guy.
Yeah, fucking Ali, rope-a-dope. It's a strategy. Like, whatever. I was offended by taking a point on a nut shot with no warning. That's what I was offended about. But I whatever. I mean, the ref sucks. He fucked up all the time. He sucks. But I've seen worse. Way worse, right? And can we talk about him being French special ops a few more times? Because they only mentioned it 500 times. And then did you hear the offensive comment by Daniel Cormier? Or maybe it was Felder. He said Denis is basically like what he was in the French special ops was equivalent to the Navy SEALs. He called those equals.
That seems like it's pretty disrespectful to the French special.
The French Legion, the greatest of all time. The toughest men in the world. Navy, give me a break.
Tim Kennedy was a Navy SEAL. They can't be that good.
He was an Army Ranger.
Whatever, same shit, different pile.
Army Ranger is actually a step below Navy SEALs. And look at Tim Kennedy's crazy ass. So, yeah. I don't know. Fuck it. All right. Middleweight division, Albert Duryev defeated Roman Kopylov. Duryev not good.
Fraud.
He's an idiot.
Fraudulent Russian.
He was like, oh, I'm gonna be the next Khamzat Chimaev. I can wrestle, but I'm just gonna strike and knock people out because I think I'm way better than I am. And then he got fucking tuned up by fucking Kopylov.
Well, and then even when he got him down and had him in mount for like 4 minutes in the second round, Carl Roberson submitted this guy, and you couldn't even finish him.
Yeah, not good. Not good. Fraudulent Russian.
Yeah.
Yep. Featherweight division, Zubaya Tugahoff defeated Ricardo Ramos. I missed this one. Looked good for a few seconds. Tugahoff looked okay. He looked better. He looked improved.
Because he was actually throwing, which he very rarely does.
He was active.
He's on the juice.
But then he still kind of lost the third round.
I wish Ramos would have wrestled a little bit early on when he was losing those early striking. I know he hit that spinning back fist towards the end, but I thought if he would have initiated that wrestling game a little bit easier or earlier, it could have thrown him off a little bit. But oh well, he's a moron.
Yeah, I still don't like Jacoby. I don't think he's any good, and he doesn't have good cardio. And,
If he can fight if he fights another competent wrestler, then
he's
there's
got
a shot
fine cardio, but he takes a lot of a fight off.
Yeah, he sucks. He's not very good either. All right, women's strawweight, Amanda Ribas defeated Verna Jandiroba. It happened.
Yeah, I didn't see this one.
Yep, it happened. Ribas won.
Definitely the lowest point of the lull of the card.
That was not good. It was not a good fight. All right, light heavyweight division, also not a good fight. Magomed Ankalaev defeated Volkan Ozdemir, decision, clean decision, easy win. But everyone's talking about after this. Oh, someone said he should jump in to fight. I forget who it was. Huge. Oh, Rockets or something like that. It's like that's gonna earn you a shot at a top 5. Did you watch that fight? It was dreadful. That was horrible. Every second of that fight sucked. And like these Russians, man, like you give them a lead, cruise control.
Yeah.
Like
hell yeah, that's all you fucking bet. I bet this guy by decision at plus 235. That shit was easy.
Yeah, that's not how you move up. You don't move.
No.
When you can put someone away, you put them away. And like knowing how Dana is and the UFC is, like they have to know that. Like he did not move up on the ladder during that fight. People might think he is, and people freak out about these Russians. Oh my God, this is the best guy ever, future champ, and blah blah blah. It's like, what do you? No. You beat Ozdemir by decision, you're gonna fucking get a title shot? What are you thinking here?
I think he thinks he isn't a great finisher. Unless you're fucking cute labia and just run at him and swing wildly, he's not gonna finish you. But he is a hyped up Russian, and I'm sure he can find a way into title shot just because they want to give all the Ruskies all the belts if they can. So he is decently good, especially in that weight class. He's got skills, but he's boring and he can't finish. So I'll just keep betting on my decision.
Not good.
It'd be awesome to get Glover plus 400 against that guy.
Welterweight division, Khamzat Chimaev defeated Li Jingliang. We lost in this one. I'll bet on anyone plus 500 versus Chimaev, who's a decent fighter.
Yep.
He's good. I'm not gonna deny he is good. I am not gonna deny that. I think I want to see him face someone who knows how to grapple and knows how to wrestle and can stop a takedown. So the Nate Diaz fight is just perfect. Oh. It's just the perfect fight. It's the perfect fight, I think. Right?
I want to see it. Nate would triangle him. Probably.
No, he wouldn't. Nate would get taken down,
double birds,
roll in a ball, flick him off, and then get submitted. That's what Nate would do. Like, there's so many interesting like this guy is interesting. I think he's past that point. I don't think he's, fucking LeBron James or anything like this, but this guy is getting eyeballs, and I think that's undeniable at this point. And UFC has pushed him. They don't push many guys. The UFC has pushed this guy, and more people were talking about him than they were talking about Makhachev. That guy no one still cares about. But like people are talking about this guy. He's there. People know who he is. He's interesting. The difference with him is he talks. He's funny. He says interesting things too to go with the run he's on. But Nate Diaz doesn't do it for me. And I understand that can give him a pop or whatever. Like I get that, but as a fan, I don't fucking want that. No one does. Like no. I want to see him fight Luque. I want to see him fight Luque. Is that too much to ask for? Can I watch Luque fight this guy?
That would be a fun fight. They're kind of. I don't know. That the Diaz fight is not going to happen. UFC is just using it.
Dana's trying.
I know Dana's. The reason he's doing that is to get Nate Diaz to sign another contract.
Nate's dumb enough. Nate IQ-wise is the dumbest person who's ever fought in the UFC. So if you don't think Dana White...
Second dumbest. Nick is definitely dumber.
Nick's dumber.
Nate Diaz is not stupid enough to take that fight.
He's the dumbest person I've ever heard talk.
He is the dumbest person that has made way more money than he ever should have.
A lot of dumb people make money. We just talked about
I know, that's all I'm saying. I mean,
that Ruggs guy
you think he's dumb, but in the fight game, he's not that dumb. Yes, I know you don't like the way he talks. And
you know why he's dumb? After that Conor fight, when he had the most popularity he's ever had, he was like, seems like a good time to take 3 years off and earn no money. You know how much money he could have made during those years when he decided not to do anything? Millions and millions of dollars. So don't tell me
I don't know if that's true because if he
would have
fights,
lost.
he would have lost, and then the fucking shine would have went off. Instead,
he's never been good.
He's been good, and he's had good performances.
The fact that he's been able to make as much money as he has is honestly incredible.
No, it's a completely, this whole Chimaev Diaz thing is just it's a bargaining ploy. I mean, if they need to offer Diaz a fight, and they just give him an absolutely horrible fight that he's not going to want to take, and then he either declines it and then his contract extends, or then he plays ball and gets a new contract. That's the only reason they're doing that, because he has one fight left on his contract, and he wants to just fight somebody, get out of it, and then he can do whatever he wants.
They asked Dana about that. Would this happen if it wasn't the last fight? And he said no. And not that I believe Dana, but I actually don't think that's the reason. I don't think it has anything to do with it.
100% believe it is.
I don't think so at all. I really don't. The reason is Nate Diaz is Dana loves this fucking Chimaev fella. Loves him. So what they're doing is they're taking literally one of the most popular fighters in the UFC who has 0% chance of beating this guy. They're going to put it as like main event on a pay-per-view. And then Chimaev is literally going to be 10 times as popular because the eyeballs Nate brings. And he is going to massacre him. The average person doesn't know Nate Diaz sucks. They think he's good because that's what we've been told, and they see the Conor
once.
Yeah. That's what they're doing. It has nothing to do with his last fight. It
definitely has partly to do with the last fight, because they could get like you.
Why? Why do they care? What's the point?
Because they want to lock him up. Like, regardless of what you think, he still makes them money.
Every 4 years. Every 4 years. But if he has one fight in his contract, regardless, what are they going to put him in against like Nick Lentz? Like, what's the difference? He's going to lose.
He wanted the Luque fight. He won the Luque fight.
That's worse.
And then he wants the Tony Ferguson fight.
No, he did
Ferguson's fine. All right, so he fights Tony and he loses. What's the difference? You're not getting.
Then he can go be a free agent. Then he can go be a free agent and box fucking Jake Paul for a shit ton of money.
Why does it make a difference for the UFC if he fights Tony?
Because they don't want him to leave.
But he's going to leave either way.
Still squeeze a couple dollars out of his fucking
one fight left.
This
Nate Diaz is not resigning, right? He's not going to resign. This is the way
he will have to. That's the whole point of this. They're forcing him to fucking resign.
Losing stop Nick. First of all, there's no one they can match him up to that he's going to beat. There's no one they can match him up to beat. So he's losing regardless. So he is losing no matter what because he is so unskilled and untalented. He's losing regardless. So if I'm the UFC, if you know you have one fight left with Nate, just one fight, why would you not use it as a pay-per-view main event against a guy that you're trying to build as the next big thing? That is the perfect thing for the UFC.
Because you could match him up against Conor and make a bunch more money.
If he had 3 fights left in his contract, Dana is still pushing for this fight. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
Why would he not? It's the easiest fight in the division versus the most popular guy.
Because they would not do that.
Of course they would. Look at who Nate has fought. Nate's fought every fucking wrestler up and comer in the UFC, and he loses every single time. When he had 5 fights left in his contract, they're like, "Cool, you should fight RDA." Like, he wasn't a free agent then. Why'd they match him up versus RDA?
They made him re-sign a contract for that one because they always do when you have a title fight.
Pick a fight. Nate Diaz fights all these wrestlers he has no chance against. It doesn't matter when his contract is. UFC wants Chimaev to be the guy. So they're like, who's the worst fighter in the division that can get the biggest buys? Nate Diaz.
Nate is not going to take that fight, so it doesn't matter.
But why not try? Nate is stupid, though.
No, he is not. He just said, who the fuck is that guy? He doesn't give a shit. You think Nate Diaz knows who the fuck Chimaev is? Not a fucking chance. Zero fucking chance.
Everyone's
not giving a fuck about that guy.
Of course he knows who he is. Nate
no, he doesn't. I guarantee you he doesn't.
Of course he does. They
literally asked him about it like a couple months ago, and he's like, I have no idea who the fuck that is.
That's like me saying who versus Leon Edwards. I know who.
I don't think it's true. Nate Diaz does not give a fuck about what's going on in the UFC, especially when he's fighting fucking Reese McKee and fucking.
It doesn't matter. This guy is popular right now. He is the thing that
he might be, but Nate Diaz is not going to take the fight, and the only reason the UFC is offering that is so that they get him to re-sign a contract.
Chimaev is more popular than anyone else Nate Diaz could fight right now.
Nate could do the Conor fight. What the fuck are you talking about? Or the Tony Ferguson fight.
He's not fighting Conor next. Tony Ferguson's popular. When did that?
Chimaev's been on one fucking pay-per-view.
Everyone talking about him. Everyone thinks Tony Ferguson retired.
Everybody in gambling is hyping up this guy.
Tony Ferguson. Oh, he was ESPN, like all the news sites. Everyone was talking about this fucking guy. Tony Ferguson wasn't popular when he was good.
Yeah,
he's never been popular.
Very much agree with.
Never been popular.
I know, but you can still do the Conor fight, and that still does tons of money.
Connor's not going to fight for another 9 months.
Saving that, or like maybe eventually, if Nate and Conor get out of the UFC, they're going to do that on their own or something weird like that.
I know, that's why Nate wants to fight his fucking contract.
And Dana cares more. He wants Chimaev to get that bump, and this is perfect. And Nate's stupid, so stupid.
You think he's dumb?
I think
you're wrong.
that Cumshot needs to fight Neil Magny. Get Magny Medov.
Brad, I'm sorry, but he is gonna fucking ruin Magny Medov.
That's not a good fight. I don't want that. I don't want that fight. He's on the list.
That's what people say about every Magny fight.
This one's different.
What happened to Magny against fucking Chiesa?
Yeah. I want Luque or Burns is what I want next.
What about Chiesa? I guess Chiesa
that is not competitive. No, Chiesa's an average wrestler and good at jiu-jitsu. Average.
Yeah. Good back control.
Anyway, Nate Diaz is stupid, real dumb. Heavyweight division, Volkov defeated Tabura. Who gives a shit? Lightweight, Makhachev defeated Dan Hooker. Surprise, Hooker had absolutely nothing. Makhachev's good. No one denies that. Still don't give a shit about him. I'm going to change it. I'm going to clean him. Fuck this guy. No one cares about him.
At least he's finishing fights now.
Good.
What's that?
That was an embarrassing performance.
That was fucking bad. Like instant takedown and just got fucking dummied on the ground.
That was short notice. I'm here for a paycheck, please. I'm already in the state.
No, he literally tweeted out fucking the gif of like wiping your tears with money. Like he straight up showed up for a fucking paycheck.
Yep. And I don't know who people keep saying Makhachev should get. Makhachev's not getting the title shot. Gaethje and Chandler is happening. If Gaethje wins, he is 1,000% getting the title fight. If Chandler wins,
loser.
I don't know. Like if Chandler wins, I could see him still getting the title shot. Like it's hard to deny after that first round versus Dubronx, and then if he, let's say, knocks out Gaethje in the first round, it's hard to deny him versus Makhachev. I don't know. I don't know. If Makhachev doesn't get the next title, people talking about Dariush, I don't think that's competitive. I don't know who there is to fight. I don't know who.
It's literally the loser of the Gaethje Chandler fight, in my opinion.
The best guy to beat Makhachev is very clear, and it won't happen because of rankings. That's the fucking gift. He ain't taking Gregor down like that. You best believe.
He'll take him down, but then they'll start scrambling, and he will be in a fucking blender.
Yeah. And I get why the UFC does it, but like, why can't Makhachev and Chimaev fight like a really good wrestler? Like that's what I want to see. A great wrestler.
There's less and less of those out there, Lance.
There is, but
that's why Russians are somehow coming in and being the best wrestlers.
What about Bo Nickel versus Chimaev tomorrow? Who wins?
I think Bo Nickel gets knocked the fuck out on the feet.
You don't think Bo Nickel can take down Cumshot Chimaev? Come on. Bo Nickel one-handed takes down Chimaev. Now he'll probably get submitted as soon as he takes him down. But guys like that, when they get to this level, then you're going to see these wrestlers. Because there's a lot of wrestlers right now early on that have one fight coming in. A lot of these guys from Penn State. Like, I'm interested to see when these guys start going. And Bo Nickel's already said he's going UFC route. Like he's not interested in Bellator.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
maybe they'll offer him 20-20 like Gable Stevenson. Or Stevenson, sorry.
And he'll go to wrestling.
I don't think Stevenson was. I don't think he was ever going to the UFC first because he still wants to wrestle. So he's still wrestling. But anyway, Bo Nickel, he's coming. Jan defeated Sandhagen. Kind of played out exactly how I thought it would play out. Sandhagen hits like a 5-year-old child. He's no power. It's hard to win with no power. At elite levels, if you can't wrestle,
you can get there. You can beat the kind of outside the top 5 guys with, and he also throws like weird shit that will land on lesser fighters, like from weird angles that might catch you.
Elbows,
All of his knockouts are knees, elbows, kicks. Like,
Yep. He has
does
no
have
punching
any with
power.
his hands.
No, his hands are
Soft. Yeah.
very soft.
To,
I mean,
to be elite at this sport, you have to have dominant power, dominant wrestling, or outrageously good submissions where you can finish someone from anywhere. You have to have one of those three to be elite. Think of every champion, every top tier guy. They have one of those. Sandhagen has none of those, unfortunately.
yeah, he's just going to be one of those guys that always sticks around the top 5 because he can beat everybody out there.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's still young. I just don't see him gaining that power. And with Peter Yan there, this
He's good
dude
at
is
everything.
fucking unbelievable. Like, he's so good at everything and has cardio. So it's not like you can put a bunch of volume on him and he's going to gas and then you can kind of take over. Dude has power for 35. He has cardio. He has
Who's
grappling.
beating this guy?
He's very good.
Aljo.
The Georgian snooze machine.
Maybe. Maybe.
I don't know how you beat this guy. Like he's
you
he's
need
so
huge
wrestler,
power.
too.
That's the only thing. You
he's the
need
best.
huge power, and who has that at 35?
No, well,
He's the best pound for round fighter.
He doesn't have huge monster one punch power, but he does have power. He has sneaky power, and his body work is good, and he has that accumulation power. Well, he will against a lot of fighters. He will get them out. Sandhagen, I'll give it to him. That's a tough dude. Like most guys would not have made that bell. Like he took a beating in that fight. The body work started connecting a lot. Like Sandhagen was getting beat down, and Yan he has no holes. Absolutely no holes in his game. He's a perfect fighter. He really is. Besides, he's a moron. But
I don't know about that. I mean, Aldo beat him for a round and a half.
Aldo
Until what happened?
No, Aldo, not Aljo.
he looked
No.
I thought Yan looked so fucking good.
Yeah.
I'd take him over Volkanovski if he ever does actually move up, like you said before, in the future. I smashes Volkanovski. Smashes him.
Still don't respect Volkanovski. Volkanovski is
Sucks.
very, very good.
Smashes him.
There's a reason there's weight classes.
10 pounds. 10 pounds.
Volkanovski used to be a heavyweight, remember?
He played rugby, I heard. Was he in the French Legion? All right.
He was in the rugby union.
There you go. Let's move on to next week's card.
We didn't even talk about Glover's can opener.
I know. He was just doing old school fucking shit, and I don't know. People are saying, "Oh yeah, he actually hurt Yan when he did the can opener, and that's why he tapped out so quick in the second."
I hope so. That would be tremendous.
That's fucking Jan's dumbass fault for not fucking opening up his guard. Just gonna get can opened in fucking 2021.
Strong man.
Lance, you were talking earlier about how, like, if you can't get up off your back, too bad. I don't know who the ref was in the main event, but I love that he just let them work on the ground because Yan was making no effort at all to get up. He was just like, I'm going to sit here with my guard closed. Glover's like, I'm just going to fucking crank on your neck.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was tremendous, start to finish. I absolutely loved it. I think Glover said he wants a lot of time off, but I don't believe him. Like he said he wanted to not fight till like April or something. I just feel like he's not going to wait that long.
Yeah. We're looking at February.
Yeah. And where's the Bear Jew at, by the way?
Well, fucking Gustafsson tucked tail and ran home, so maybe he can fight Ankalaev again.
Glover.
Tap his ass out.
Bear Jew Glover. I mean,
that's not happening.
Bear Jew smashes him. Just
Lance.
Look, huh?
That's
Yep. Smash it.
that's a rough one.
Yeah.
I don't know what we do there. I don't know what we do.
Jew's getting knocked out.
All right. Okay. Let's jump into this. Starting with a couple of people that I don't care about. If we have the flyweight division, CJ Vergara versus Ode to the Osbourne. You, Sean?
I have nothing here. I didn't catch Vergara's contender series fight. I know Osbourne is not good, so should he be a minus 180 favorite? Probably, because Dana White contender series is a dumpster fire this season and will just take anybody. But I'll probably still pick the dog and tell Master.
Brett?
I kind of like CJ Vagina here.
Nope.
He had one of those like 40-second, just gonna blow the dude up in Contender Series. So it's hard to tell from that, but he's got some decent prolonged performances on the regional circuit, and Aussie Black Sabbath Osbourne, not great. Not great at the wrestling. He's tall for a flyweight, but that's about his best skill. And I think he probably gets punched up a lot this one. So I like CJ.
Yeah, not a whole lot here. Osborne's one of those guys that people keep thinking is going to be good, but there's not a lot there. And then you got a guy who won Click on Contender Series, which okay. This is just a fight I'm gonna watch and sit there and not bet on. I'll take Osbourne here. I think just the experience, and he's okay, and okay might be enough these days for a lot of these fights.
OD.
He's OD.
Not okay.
Ode Osbourne. All right. Featherweight division. Oh God.
Come on, Lance.
Baghdasaryan versus Bruno Souza. Sean, this is real people?
These are people.
Glendale Fighting Club.
Is that yes? Baghdasaryan is definitely from Head Movement. So that is obviously a bit concerning, but the other guy's a Machida fighter. He won last time out in LFA. He won the vacant title. This is another one where that's a pretty wide line, but Baghdasaryan has looked good. He looked good in his UFC fight, looked good on Contender Series, so there is some obvious hype there. I'll pick him to win and likely get a finish.
He's one of those guys that I know I've seen fight and just absolutely no recollection. Brad?
Yeah, he's relatively fun. If he was facing somebody who could grapple at all, I would definitely be betting against him, but I'm assuming that Bruno Souza is a striker, considering he's coming out of Machida's camp. So yep. I don't know. I don't think that the Armenian is good. I know that Gabe Killian will probably have a bet on him because
is he alive?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think he died in a greasy fried chicken truck fire.
Oh no!
Remember when he was fighting with people over Yelp reviews? You don't know who the fuck I am. What do you mean you don't like my chicken?
Talk about a man's chicken like that.
Have you seen my stand-up routine?
What a great community we're part of. I don't have thoughts on this fight really.
Yeah, kind of the same. Not exactly an action-packed start to the prelims. So I got absolutely nothing on this fight. Honestly, these first two fights just don't do it for me. But in the next fight, light heavyweight division, Dustin Jacoby, John Allan. I'm very good at picking Jacoby fights incorrectly. New Sean?
Well, he's a minus 350 favorite. So what are your thoughts, Lance? Because I'll just do whatever you think is not going to happen. That's a crazy big line. Like, I know the guy he's fighting is fucking bad, and he's lost to some very bad UFC fighters.
Insides plus money. Or knockouts plus money.
Ooh.
This guy has not been
plus money,
before,
but inside
though.
Isn't.
I didn't look at inside. I just saw knockout. Inside's minus 110. So 10 cents. You got 10 cents for the sub.
Yeah,
the
take
sub
the inside. Because John Allan has not been KO'd, but he's been subbed 4 different times. So,
yeah. What's Jacoby's sub? What are we thinking here, boys?
He's got 1 sub on his record.
That's
when the hell was
Jacoby by 13.25.
He submitted Ryan Braun in March of 2011 with a triangle choke for his only submission of his entire career.
Not bad.
Probably
that's the way he
nice
does it.
Too. Textbook triangle.
Textbook triangle.
Big time.
Yeah, I don't care.
Brad.
Yeah, John Allan is very bad.
Yes.
And it seems like Jacoby has realized that when you get taken down, you're actually allowed to get back to your feet, which is game changer for him. Absolute game changer. He didn't realize it the first time he was in the UFC, realizes it now, and he's had a little bit of success because of it. So I think that Jacoby rolls in this one because even short notice, this Brazilian gasses even more than he does.
Yeah, I think short notice is kind of worrisome, but I think Jacoby can kind of do whatever he wants here. I think he can pick him apart in the feet, and I do like that plus money or minus 110 inside the distance versus the knockout prop. I think Jacoby can get it done here. I mean, look at who this fucking John Allan guy has lost to. It is a who's who of garbage. And Jacoby, he's not the best, but he's good enough to get the finish here. So, yeah, might make a play here on Jacoby inside. Then we have a great one. Heavyweight division. Our boy Johnny Villante taking on Chris Barnett. What a fight. I don't know how this isn't on the pay-per-view, but Sean?
Just top-notch heavyweight fight here.
Yep.
Supposedly Villante is going to be retiring after this, so you know how
Bare
retirement
knuckle.
fights. He could get a call from Bare Knuckle, a couple months after retiring, because I'm sure he'll need some money.
Where are they getting money from? I don't understand this bare knuckle thing. Guys they're paying guys like $50,000 to fight when like they're making like $5 on the car. I don't understand. I can't. It's got to be a Ponzi scheme.
I would assume so.
Yeah.
Multi-level marketing stuff,
Something like that.
But yeah, we know how these retirement fights usually end up. But Chris Barnett is not very good. Is he gonna push Villante and tire him out? I don't know. I'll just
Villante
pick
has the
dog.
cardio edge. That's how bad this fight is.
I don't know if that's true or not.
Are you going fatties, Brad?
No, I'm not touching this. I'll pick the dog. Barnett's the dog. Let's have some Huggy Bear.
Oh, I just realized I want a shitload of money on basketball tonight. That's good.
Hell yeah.
How can you not go fatties?
Yeah, I know. I'm looking at the line.
It's minus 120 over 2.5. That's
no. I got one earlier in the week. It was like basic. It was like minus 130 for 1.5.
1.5 now is minus.
Dimes did open it minus 115 over 1.5.
I had to look at what I got, but yeah, I definitely grabbed some of that because these dudes are gonna be. I mean, Chris Barnett. I don't know what his nickname is now, but it used to be Huggy Bear.
It is.
And is it still Huggy Bear?
Yeah.
There's going to be some Huggy Bear going on in this fight because these dudes are both going to be heaving about 3 minutes in. And all I can say is, the winner, and in the T-shirt in the pool division, the winner is always subjective. It's not who the judges think is the winner. Title shot. Immediate title shot.
Makes sense.
I don't even care if Villante retires.
Johnny Villante round 3, 11-1. That's the bet.
Oh my!
Just going out with style.
I mean, he almost did it. Who did we have him against?
And then he immediately lost. Like he almost finished. Yep. It was that idiot, the crochet
cigarette smoker.
Yeah,
crochet boss.
I think it was a Munich bet, and he was about to win, and they were just like, that's like he like grabbed him like this, and he was like, oh god, that's a lot of pressure. That was one of the worst. Like he was like plus 250 in that fight, and we were all over it, and like he literally just decided at that point, no mas. He was on top, punching him, and then just tapped out.
Yep.
Johnny Villante. Remember when he first came up, he was like in shape and like everyone was like, God, this guy's gonna be good. Man, is he bad.
He's one of the best cases of, but he trains with this guy. So
yeah, the Weidman angle. Weidman's best friend and with Sarah Long. Yeah, that was he really was. He was one of the OGs of that. All right, Ian Garry, welterweight division, Ian Garry versus Jordan Williams. Sean?
So Ian Garry's kind of getting some hype I don't know how much you can actually get from at this point when he's not doing anything too special. I mean, he's a champ. He was a champ in Cage Warriors. He is from Ireland, and he's not training at SBG, so that kind of bumps him up about 2 levels in my book. He's actually come over and training at Sanford MMA, so he's not dumb. He's not going to waste his talents on our favorite UFC coach. He's probably going to beat the Insulin Kid. Him by TKO is like plus 150 at Bet Online. That's probably a decent bet because he doesn't have many subs on his record, so he usually pounds guys out. So plus 150, not terrible when he's like minus 400.
Brad, diabetes.
I mean,
Beatus.
The Insulin Kid, he may not have a pancreas, but he has heart, right?
He has grit. Who did we bet against him really big last fight?
Mickey Gall.
Mickey Gall.
Oh, that's right. That was such an awesome win. That was one of my favorites. Gall just absolutely murders him.
Yeah. Ian Garry's good. This is too big of a line for him, but he should win this fight because the Beatus, and you can't trust that guy. But yeah, I'll be looking to fade him at some point in the near future.
How did Diabetes beat the RoboCop?
That's why it took me a few fights to trust the RoboCop, and then this last one was the first time I trusted him, and that went perfectly. Never in doubt there.
He almost died, and then he won. It was great. Domination, death, domination. That's how you do things.
Yeah, he did the full Peter Weller in that one.
Yeah. Ian Garry's supposed to be great. Everything I've read about him, everything I've heard about him for years, he's supposed to be really, really, really good. Jordan Williams is terrible. That is a fact. That is just an absolute fact. I feel bad for him. What he's done, it's impressive. The Diabetes is not a joke. You don't fuck with the Diabetes. But he's so bad. He's horrible. He's good at nothing. He's good at nothing. He got outstruck easily by Mickey Gall. Fucking Sugar Ray Mickey Gall just worked on his face. And I don't know. I don't know how you don't just – this is probably the last time, so I would feel stupid if I didn't bet against him. Right? Parlay piece.
What are you doing?
Minus 400?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You taking him inside? Is he going to finish the Insulin Kid?
Thinks if he wins, I think he does.
Not 100%, I don't think. I mean, Jordan Williams is tough when he's not facing the big time power of someone like Mickey Gall. I mean, you can't.
The only guys that haven't finished the Insulin Kid have been
RoboCop.
2 boring Russians.
RoboCop.
2 boring Russians.
Guys, he's lost to the only ones that he's lost. Yeah.
Anyway, he's gonna win. All right, middleweight division: Edmen Shahbazyan, Nasruddin Imavov. Nishan?
Yeah, I think this is a big step down for Shahbazyan. They kind of rushed him. I mean, it was kind of a tough situation. Obviously, he killed Jack Marshman. That's nothing special. I mean, the cum shot can do that. So, or I guess the cum shot beat the guy who Marshman beat or fought. But it was a nice finish against Brad Tavares, and then they kind of gave him the real deal at middleweight. Brunson and a little bit lesser extent Hermanson, guys that are grapplers that are gonna, for the most part, easily out grapple this guy. Imavov has a couple takedowns, but I think at this point Edmen will be able to stuff takedowns from non-good fighters, which Imavov is not, and then he's gonna have a huge edge on the feet. I just think this is a bit of an overcorrection. I was really surprised that Shahbazyan was an underdog. I think you got to play him. He's still very good on the feet. if he doesn't get taken down, he is still a pretty damn good middleweight. And I just don't think Imavov is the guy to get him down. So I got 2 units on Shahbazyan at plus 100.
Brad?
Even when he did get taken down in his last fight, he didn't look awful. Like he can grapple a bit. It's just that if he grapples too much, he's going to get tired. In this fight, he is not going to have to grapple because this French-Russian fraud dude, he is not good. He obviously got the win over Heine last time out, but the fact that a half-dead Phil Hawes could win 2 rounds against this guy just by holding him up against the cage and doing nothing, not a great sign. So I think Edmen's still good. He's only lost to guys in the top 5 at middleweight, and he has looked very good at times in those fights. He doesn't have the same sort of stylistic stuff going on in this fight here, so I like him to really sort of beat up Imavov. I'm not sure if he gets a finish. A finish is very possible, but I've got a bet on Edmen at plus money.
What's up, Fred? Thanks for joining. I'm with the fellas here. I don't know what they were thinking with this Edmen thing. Like, I understood they give him the Brunson fight. You know, they're trying to give him that quick push. The kid's like 22, 23 years old. At that point, I thought, Brunson was what, a 3-1 dog versus him? Like, I understood that. After he lost the fight to Brunson, what the fuck were they thinking giving him the Hermanson fight next? This kid's 23 years old. He just got roughed up by old man Brunson. What are we doing here? Like, they should have immediately gave him a step. This fight right now would have made perfect sense right after that Brunson fight. And I think as long as this kid's not a little head fucked from losing a couple in a row, which he doesn't seem like the guy that would be, he just got to, keep his head in a swivel, if you will. Well, head movement. And I think he'll be fine here. I think he can stop the takedowns. I think if he gets taken down, he can get up. And Imavov sucks. I mean, why is this line this way? Like, are we really putting that much stake in Edmen losing to 2 really talented guys because this boring Russian knocked out Ian Heinisch and lost to literally Phil Hawes? Everyone thought sucked after that fight. Like, everyone's like, okay, Phil Hawes sucks. We were wrong again. Like, okay, we're right, we're wrong, we're right, we're wrong. Like, Phil Hawes is very confusing. But I don't get this line. I love Edmen here. I think it makes sense. I think him being an underdog is just ridiculous. So this will be the consensus bet of the week. Edmen Shahbazyan, was he plus 100 now, I think?
Armenian Canelo, baby. Armenian Canelo.
Speaking of the hog, Phil Hawes, Chris Curtis. They really gave him a little bit of a gimme here, didn't they, Sean?
Well, yeah, like obviously this was like a late notice, last second fight. And at that point, when it was like 2 days notice, 3 days notice, I was kind of thinking about tossing, $50 or something on Curtis, just because Phil Hawes didn't have time to game plan for him. I don't know. It probably wouldn't have mattered, but I just think there's a little more variance when it comes to those last second fights. Now that there's had time to kind of train for what Curtis is going to bring, I think it's going to be pretty tough for Chris Curtis. He's obviously going to be outsized, out-muscled, kind of everything. I think Phil Hawes is going to be out-hauled.
For sure.
I think Hawes is going to be able to get Curtis down and rough him up on the ground. Also, I'm not sure what Curtis's chin looks like at this weight, so bunch of concerning things for old Chris Curtis. So I'm staying away. I'll pick Hawes, and I think he probably gets a finish because that's the way he usually wins.
Brad?
You're crazy. I mean, the only bet here is the action man, Chris Curtis, only retired from MMA about 17 different times.
He's back, though.
He's back for real this time.
For sure back.
But in the last 5 years, he has 7 finishes after the first round. You know who
Here we go.
After the first round?
Hawes?
Hawes. Very much sucks after the first round. You know who we think even more than sucking is just really chinny? Is Phil Hawes. So I'm scrolling through right now. I see 1,800 on Curtis round 2, 26 on Curtis round 3. I got to sprinkle. I have to sprinkle. You got to do it.
Yeah.
Those are big numbers that there's some thought to that. So I don't hate that, Brad.
Yeah, I don't love it. I think Hawes is just I don't. Curtis is only winning this fight with if he lands something out of nowhere.
He's only winning this fight if Hawes gasses and he knocks him out. Yeah.
I don't think he knocks out a gassed Hawes. We've seen that's a hard thing to do. I think Hawes is better everywhere. I think he dictates where this fight goes. He can use his wrestling if he needs to. He's going to be way bigger and stronger. He can push him against the cage, whatever he wants here. And I think this one's going to be all Phil Hawes. All right, let's go to a really weird fight. Lightweight division, Iaquinta versus Bobby Green. Like, okay. News, Sean?
I mean, it's your typical Bobby Green fight. Weird things are going to happen, or if it's a weird fight to begin with. Iaquinta hasn't fought in 2 years. He's definitely more of a salesman at this point than a fighter, but he can still scrap. He's still a tough dude. It's tough having money on Bobby Green against okay competition.
Anyone.
Because he likes to fight down to his competition, and then sometimes he fights up to his competition when he fights decent guys. I don't know here. I think his volume is going to be enough. He has been fighting. I know most people think he doesn't throw, which I mean I think nowadays he's throwing a lot more than before. He still's going to shake his head and talk shit in the cage and stuff like that. But I still think he's going to put a bit more volume on Iaquinta, and Bobby Green pretty much doesn't finish anybody. So him by decision was plus 100. I put a unit on that.
Brad?
I was honestly shocked when I looked at Iaquinta's record, and it's only been 2 years since he's fought. It feels like this dude has been retired, running the real estate game in Long Island for years.
Killing it.
I guess the real estate market's drying up a little bit. Coming back to MMA for some peanuts to fight Bobby Green. But this one's tricky for me because never bet Bobby Green as a favorite. Never. Just like if you value your life and your sanity, don't do that. Iaquinta hasn't fought in 2 years, but when he did fight, he only lost to like really good guys. And maybe that's looking back and seeing like Dan Hooker's name on his resume as a loss, and Hooker wasn't as good then as he is now, so maybe that's playing into it a little bit. But I think this is going to be a very competitive fight. I'm just going to stay away from it. I don't know what the totals are. I don't have them in front of me right now. I imagine they're massively juiced because this is going to be a close, probably split decision. And I don't really want any part of it.
Yeah,
it's anywhere from minus 250 to minus 350 for it to go to decision.
That
sounds about right.
I think if this was a couple years ago, I'd actually really like Al here. I think he throws more. He can be more active. He's better than Bobby Green. Al's, who knows what the fuck Al's going to look like. Bobby Green, you just never know what you're going to get. He'll look good when he decides to fight, but most of the fight, he'll probably be standing there doing absolutely nothing. This is just a pass, but I'm definitely rooting for Al, not a Bobby Green guy. All right, middleweight division, Alex Pereira versus Andreas Michailidis. New shot.
I think this is a setup fight. Pereira obviously is a very, very good kickboxer. Him with 4-ounce gloves is pretty scary. Michailidis got lumped up by the minimal Bukakis inside a round. I don't know, like is always this chance that somehow this guy gets Pereira down and he's just an absolute fish out of water. Michailidis does have some subs on his record. Him by sub is like plus 1,800. So if you're just looking for a dart on this, maybe that's it. But unfortunately, Pereira's been training in the garage with Glover. So he is going to absolutely murder this guy, and it's going to be awesome.
Brad?
Yeah, you talked about the only thing that matters is
Pereira
he's prepared. And I saw his most recent fight on LFA, and that wasn't the most inspiring thing that I've ever seen. Like the guy was trying to take him down and held him up against the cage and that sort of stuff. And then he landed a punch. And I don't think if he lands a punch here, it's going to go well for old Michailidis. So, I've got Pereira. Again, I haven't looked too deep into the props on this one. I imagine that the TKO prop is probably a little bit juiced, but
around even money.
Really? Huh. I mean, that's how he's going to win. So I don't hate that.
Yeah, I get the interest in Pereira, but it's hard to trust him and lay any money on him, let alone laying juice. Michailidis sucks. He lost to Modest Bukaki Party. That is not a good look. So he's very bad. You never know with these kickboxers, right? He's only fought a few times in MMA. He has one fight in the last 5 years in MMA. So it's not exactly this, and he hasn't fought in a year. So he's not exactly very active, but he is training in the garage, so you can't pick against him with old Glover. I'll take Pereira here, but I'm not betting on it. All right, we're gonna do the curtain jerker with the best fight on the card. Not even close to the best fight in the card. Justin Gaethje. They're doing this because of Whitman and their space. Fucking ridiculous. The fact that they're moving this fight to the bottom of the card so Whitman doesn't get too tired from standing there. I don't understand.
What's going on here?
So Gaethje and Chandler is the opener.
Yeah, because Whitman is coaching Gaethje, Namajunas, and Usman, so they didn't want to do it three in a row.
So he's the curtain.
I mean, now he's going to get tired from walking out and then walking back, and he has to do it.
I know, he could have just
stayed there.
Yeah, he could have just done it once.
Bring him out.
Maybe he's trying to get his steps in. Maybe that's what the whole thing's about. So, best fight of the card, probably one of the best fights the UFC can make just overall. Like, this is absolutely tremendous. Not much chance of this being shitty. Justin Gaethje, Michael Chandler. New Sean?
This is going to be awesome. For however long it lasts, it's going to be fucking awesome. Obviously, I think Chandler's path to victory is to go out there early and catch Gaethje. Because if he doesn't, Gaethje is going to be absolutely tearing up his legs and calves and ankles and everything. And Gaethje can thump too.
Did you hear what Michael Chandler said when they asked him how he's going to deal with the leg kicks today?
What did he say?
Eat them.
Perfect. That's what you want to hear.
Sounds like a guy who's not vaccinated.
Yeah, that sounds like an intelligent human being.
I ain't putting that shit in my body. I'm going to let this man kick me in the leg.
So he's going to have a dead nerve in about 30 seconds into this fight, and it's going to be flopping around.
Right now. Gaethje's mad. He's big mad.
Yeah, I think Gaethje comes out hot, puts it on him, and gets him out of there. There is a chance that Chandler can catch him. Chandler has very big power at 155, and very early on he throws quick and can put pretty much anybody out. So I expect Gaethje to kind of weather the storm, take over, and finish Chandler late in the first or possibly early in the second. I got Gaethje inside the distance at plus 110 for a unit. I also took under 1.5 plus 110 for a unit. I know Gaethje has had some longer fights. I think this is going to be such a fast-paced fight that it's not going to matter. Like either Chandler catches him or Chandler's going to get really fucked up very quickly.
YMCA.
So, I mean, hopefully he does his best James Vick impression on Saturday.
Oh man, Brad.
I wish there was someone that I could actually cheer for in this fight, because both of these guys are incredibly exciting as fighters, and both are absolute stooges as people. So that kind of sucks. So you got to cheer for violence here.
Yep.
I don't hate that under, but I'm concerned that if Chandler doesn't get Gaethje out of there early, and I think that's quite possible, because Chandler is a way better athlete, way faster than Gaethje. I'm kind of curious to see what game plan Gaethje comes out with, because he went back to being kind of a very aggressive counter striker against Khabib, and that worked extremely well for him. But I think if he waits on Chandler, that Chandler's so much faster that could be trouble for him as well. And also, like, what if Chandler tries to wrestle here? Because I know that
he's gonna gas real bad.
He's gonna gas faster than he will when he doesn't knock out Gaethje.
He's gonna gas, but it's only a 3-round fight. So I'm not convinced that Chandler's just going to completely be on empty after 3 minutes in this fight. And I actually kind of like him here. I can definitely see Gaethje chopping him down with leg picks. Like, obviously, that's a huge concern for anybody backing Chandler in this one. So I haven't actually put in a bet yet. But I'm very much considering Chandler. I think he's the more complete fighter. Not the more durable fighter, but I think he has more ways to win this fight for sure. So I like Chandler in this one.
Chandler, what about the round 1, 625, Brad?
There you go.
Not bad.
What about the Dubronx stole his soul angle?
No, he just contributed to Dubronx's soul.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And now because he's a man of God, he's getting that energy back in spades.
There you go.
Yeah.
I don't know if Chandler could out wrestle him easily, even if he wanted to. I know he doesn't use it very much, but Gaethje's defensive wrestling isn't bad. When you look at their wrestling credentials, they're about the same between Chandler and Gaethje. Gaethje just never uses his because he's a fucking psychopath. So with that being said, not that Chandler couldn't get him down, but he will have to work to get him down. And I don't know if Chandler wants that angle. Chandler's 35 years old. His cardio is not getting better, and he needs to do something quick if he wants to get a title shot. I think Chandler is going to come out fucking hot. I think Chandler is going to come out, bite down on his mouthpiece, and throw absolute bombs. And the adrenaline, everything else, maybe they get a little wide. And Gaethje's a good counter striker, and he's not fast, but he's sneaky fast on the counter. And I think if Chandler's overextending a little bit and Gaethje can clip him. Gaethje's got he doesn't have this big one-punch knockout power, but he's got the sneaky power. And I think if Chandler's overextending and can get caught in a counter, he can get hurt. And really, Chandler has 5 minutes. Like, he really does. He's never had good cardio, and 35-year-old Chandler, I don't know if he has it. And we'll see how he comes out. He just got fucking cleaned out by a jiu-jitsu guy. Just cleaned out. Death. Nothing left after hurting him really bad in the first round. But I like Gaethje here. In the angle I'm looking is Justin Gaethje, has he ever won a decision?
He did against Tony.
Not
Tony.
Against
No, it wasn't Tony. It was he's never. Gillard. World Series of Fighting was his last decision.
Melvin Gillard is the guy he won a decision against.
Yeah, that's right.
That's fucking hilarious.
He finished Tony in the 5th round at the very end.
Right. That's what it was.
He's plus 100 inside the distance, and I was quite surprised by that. What's the actual money line on that right now? So he's minus 220, by decision and plus 100 inside. Now, I think the one angle you can look at that is maybe a little bit scary is Gaethje's been fighting in a lot of 5-round fights, but he usually gets, earlier finishes outside of a couple here and there versus some tough guys. But I like Gaethje inside the distance here, plus 100. I think that's definitely worth a stab here. I don't see him winning. He doesn't really win decisions. It's not his thing. If you're getting plus 100, fuck it, take it. All right, let's move on. Jersey's own Frankie Edgar versus Marlon Vera. I don't know who that is.
Oh, I thought they moved this up so it's the third fight on the card now.
No, that is Shane Burgos versus our boy Billy Q. Love Billy Q. Frankie Edgar, Jersey's own. Nushan, make a wrong prediction.
I have some sad news for you, Lance.
What, Frankie pieced up Munoz? Beat the shit out of him?
No, that happened. I'll cry. I've cried about it that night. But
what a beatdown! That was not that long ago that beating occurred. Woo!
This is going to be the last time that you are going to see Frankie Edgar, so you better enjoy it.
He's going to retire on top.
He is retiring. I don't know if it's going to be on top.
Is he retiring? He hasn't announced retiring.
He hasn't announced it, but there's
Frankie's never going to announce his retirement. Frankie could lose 10 in a row, and his comments would be, if I get this win, I think I'm 1 or 2 away from a title shot.
I predict he will retire. Regardless if he wins or loses, he's retiring on Saturday.
Bare knuckle him, seeing a talent like Frankie.
That's right up his alley. This should be a fun fight. I mean, Frankie, even at his old age, usually brings it. It obviously is concerning coming off that brutal knockout against Sandhagen. He took a decent amount of time off, but I do think he's retiring, and that usually is not a good. There's not a good record of success when you're retiring. Vera is a decent fighter. I mean, he looked decent against Aldo. That takedown defense is definitely going to get tested. This could be a fairly close fight. I don't want any part of it. I'll pick Vera to just be more active, stuff some takedowns, and box up Frankie Edgar.
This would be by far the worst guy Frankie Edgar has ever lost to. Gotta play that angle, Brad.
You know what else?
You are right.
By far the best guy that Marlon Vera has ever beat.
Oh yeah, ever.
Yep. Oh, I don't know, man. There's some talk that Sean O'Malley is a future title contender.
Who's that?
Yeah. Yep. He's rising up in bum fights, just killing the game out there. Yeah, like Marlon Vera is tough and he has good cardio, but he doesn't have knockout power. He sometimes goes to his wrestling, but he doesn't have good wrestling. And he's really, really tough. None of that really matches up against what Frankie Edgar does well. So unless Frankie's chin is completely gone, and I don't think the ginger landing a massive flying knee on him is an indication of that.
No.
I kind of like Frankie Edgar in this fight. He's gonna dance. He's gonna probably eat a couple leg kicks, but he's taken leg kicks from the calf kicks from the originator, from Benson Henderson at 155. So you think some little piddly 135 Marlon Vera calf kicks are going to take out that old man's knee or his leg? Not going to happen. Frankie is going to shoot takedowns, and even if he doesn't get them, he's going to push him up against the cage, and he's going to volume box Marlon Vera's ass off for 15 minutes, and people are going to be saying that Frankie's back after this one. That Peter Yan better watch out.
He better,
Frankie, because that's the only man that can
tough matchup for Yan.
That's the only man that can match Peter Yan's pace is Frankie.
Yep.
I mean, Yan might win round 1 and 2 in that fight, but Frankie, 3, 4, 5, easy money in the bag.
What if I told you Frankie Edgar was 2 years younger than the current UFC light heavyweight champion? Would you believe me?
I'd believe you, but also Frankie Edgar fights at 135, where you have to be young to be good, and
Do you, though?
Glover fights
Do
at
you?
205, where you can be old.
Aldo?
Yeah.
It's a little bit old.
Aldo is one of very few.
So it's going to be so awesome at UFC 300 when Frankie and Aldo fight again for the UFC bantamweight title. It's going to be so good.
No, it'll be at 125.
All I'm saying is enjoy betting on Frankie Edgar because
I always do, man. The ticket I cashed in that Munoz fight, just the fucking beating that Frankie put on that man. All jokes aside, you think Munoz won that fight or not? That was a close fight versus a top 10 guy that literally just happened not that long ago. So let's take Frankie's age out of it just for a second. Way better boxer. Not close. Speed advantage, boxing advantage. Way better boxer. Way better wrestler. Way better wrestler. Not close, not better than wrestling. Can never doubt Frankie's cardio. His cardio is always going to be fine. That's not what gets him in trouble. Good cardio, great cardio, better boxing, better wrestling. What's Vera doing here? She's going to tap him in the leg a few times? I don't know what he's going to do. Frankie's going to do whatever the fuck he wants. That's what I know what Frankie's going to do. He's going to do whatever the fuck he wants. Plus 140. These are the matchups that Frankie should be. Frankie shouldn't be fighting the Muniz of the world. Let's be real. He shouldn't be fighting Sandhagens. You fight guys who are ranked that aren't very good and don't have much power. And that's what this is. Frankie Edgar, Marlon Vera is perfect for Frankie. Plus 140. Munich. That's right. No surprises here. On brand. Frankie Edgar is the Munich. All right, let's move on now. We have the featherweight division. Shane Burgos, Billy Quarantillo. This pay-per-view card is fucking great, by the way. Usually wouldn't put this fight on the pay-per-view. They'd put like Al Iaquinta versus Bobby Green in this spot. So I'm glad they actually put the good fight on the pay-per-view. Sean?
I mean, if we're being honest, they probably had Arena Aldana versus Holly Holm on this or some shit like that.
Yeah.
So this is a little bit of a step up there. This should be a fun fight. Both these guys are action fighters. Both of them probably get hit too much, but they also land a shit ton. Billy Q's been kind of a roller coaster. I was pretty hyped on him after his fight against Spike Carlisle and Kyle Nelson, and then he just got humbled by Gavin Tucker, who I don't know how good Gavin Tucker is. I don't know if that was just a weird stylistic matchup. Tucker was able to kind of out-wrestle Quarantillo and kind of give it to him on the ground. Shane Burgos is not going to do that. Burgos wants to keep this on the feet at all costs. I think Billy Q can do pretty decent on the feet. If he can mix in some wrestling, Burgos has stuffed a decent amount of takedowns. He hasn't fought any, elite wrestlers or anything like that, but the guys that he's fought that were grapplers, he's done fairly well against. But I still think with that motor that Billy Q has, that he can push this and get this to a fairly close fight. So this is kind of just more of I'm playing a number, but I put a unit on him, Billy Q at plus 173.
Red.
Yeah, I feel like I've had a pretty decent read on Billy Q throughout his UFC run. He's got endless cardio. He's willing to throw a million of anything and keep grappling and just do whatever it takes to win a fight. But he can be outmuscled. And that's where he struggled against Spike Carlisle in points of that fight. That's definitely where he struggled against Gavin Tucker. I don't think that's going to be a struggle with him against Shane Burgos, which means that both of these guys are going to come forward. They're both going to throw a shitload of strikes. And honestly, I think that Burgos has the worst defense and the worst, well, maybe not the worst durability because he's taken a shitload of punishment. But the fact that he's taken so much punishment, even if it is against a higher level of competition than Billy Q has faced, it's very concerning at this point, and especially the way he got finished in his last fight. That's worrying. to see a guy's brain shut off like 7 seconds after he actually
That was
got
weird. That was
punched.
really weird.
That was super weird.
That's not good. And honestly, I think that where Burgos is used to starting off slow and picking up steam as the fight goes, Billy's going to start a little bit quicker. And Burgos is just never going to be able to get that steam back because Billy Q's not going to get tired. So I like Billy in this one. I think that he's probably going to end up winning a decision in what is likely the fight of the night because they're going to throw 8,000 strikes in 15 minutes.
Yeah, I think this one, I think a big thing depends on if Billy can eat the shots from Burgos. Billy, where he gets in trouble outside of even strength is he's very hittable. Even in fights that he dominates, like he gets punched in the face quite often. Like he really gets punched in the face a lot. Where he should, what was the last fight? It was either his last fight or the one. I think it was the Mowgli fight. Like Mowgli fight. He was like dominating and he was still getting hit in the face like a shit ton for absolutely no reason. Like the guy just likes to get hit in the face. Burgos has clean, crisp power. Like if he lands clean on someone, he can put them out. And I just worry with Billy's defense, like what if he eats one of those? And then on the other side, that Burgos situation, the Barbosa fight was just that wasn't good. Like that was just not. That was like I don't get worried about knockouts or all that. Like that's just you guys know me. Whatever. That one kind of freaked me out a little bit, where I was like, it seems you got a brain bleed or something going on there. Like something's not good.
Yeah.
And Billy is going to put on him. Billy is going to be outrageously active. He's going to put him on him. I'm interested to see how much Billy goes to the wrestling. I think sometimes he relies too much on his striking when he's getting just lit up and he just keeps moving forward and getting hit because he does have that pace and he does believe in his chin. So I'd be interested to see if Billy does try to take this to the ground. If he gets him to the ground, I think Billy can just absolutely wipe him out on the ground. It just depends if he can get it there and if he tries to get it there. I've been leaning doesn't go the distance on this one, which I think it's round plus money. So that's something I've been leaning, but I've been kind of back and forth. I also don't hate Billy Q in this fight. And I could see the line going up a little bit more as well on Billy. So we'll see. It's gonna be one of those two. I'm a big Billy Q homer. I love that guy. I love his style. And sometimes I just bet guys I like because fuck it, I win enough. If I want to
we just bet Frankie in the last fight. So
we did bet Frankie, but I'm up like massive this year, so it's okay. All right, we'll see. Co-main event, women's strawweight division: Rose Namajunas, Zhang Weili. You, Sean?
It's always weird when they do these immediate rematches,
especially after a fucking clean knockout in the first round.
Yeah, it's a super weird one, and I mean there has been other cases where, like JDS knocked Kane the fuck out, and then of course got dominated the next two. I don't really see that in this matchup. I was never really sold on Zhang Weili, and then I was like, okay, this Rose fight's going to be a decent test because Rose is a good fighter, and Rose just smoked her. And that's a bit concerning because the fight before that with Joanna, that was a fucking war. And Zhang Weili got beat up pretty good in that fight, and then gets absolutely smoked by Rose. I'm surprised by the line. When it got to plus money, I took a unit on Rose. I still like, for the most part, Rose is pretty damn good when it's on the feet. She struggled in the past when she's got out wrestled. I don't think Zhang Weili is going to be able to get her down and keep her down. So this is going to stay on the feet, and Rose is good there. So I might add, I don't know, this is such a weird line. If it keeps going up, I'll probably add some more. But yeah, right now, just a unit on Rose. And I was also like, I was hoping that maybe we'd get some luck with some decent money on some overs after a quick finish in the first fight, but they knew better. It's basically even money or something like that to go to the decision, which I don't really want to touch that because Zhang Weili might get smoked again.
Brad?
Yeah, I don't have strong thoughts on this fight either way. I guess I kind of favor Rose just because I've seen a lot more of her against decent competition, And when she's lost, it seemed to be kind of flukier. Well, either what Sean said, where she just gets dominated by wrestling, or a little bit flukier than the way that Zhang has lost. And the other thing we have to consider is that a lot of these Chinese fighters are really bad. They're just really bad, and she's probably the best of the bunch. It doesn't mean that she's tremendous, though. So if it stays on the feet, Rose is probably more dangerous throughout the fight, but it'll be competitive. And I actually think that Rose has an advantage in terms of submission grappling here. So, I guess I'll take Rose.
Yeah, I like Rose a lot here. I really do. I think I don't understand it. I think maybe it was a hype train that the UFC did on Zhang once she won the belt and the China thing and trying to get.
They want her to win so bad for China, getting money from China.
They do, and when I look at this matchup, like Rose is kind of better everywhere. Like I don't know where Zhang has an advantage. I think Rose she's fast in the feet. Her boxing has gotten a lot better. If she does get taken down, she has a very active guard. She has really good jiu-jitsu off her back that we haven't seen it as much lately because she's more into being a boxer now. Is lane prey the option here for Zhang? I don't know. Really like Rose here. Shocked that she was an underdog. Just absolutely shocked. So I will be betting Rose. Really like her in this fight and to retain the belt. And then we get to watch another fucking rematch in this division with Carla. Yay. All right. Welterweight division. Kamaru Usman, Colby Covington. New Sean.
This should be an awesome fight. This is the cream of the crop at welterweight. Obviously, we shit on some of the things that Covington does, but he's an absolutely phenomenal fighter. Unfortunately, he's in the same division as somebody who's all-time great, capable. And I mean, I know you still hate Usman. Usman is very good. At least he's getting better. His hands have definitely got better. I guess that wasn't that much of a feat because they were pretty rudimentary early on in his career, but he didn't really need it. For me, this one's kind of simple. Covington's had one fight since the Usman fight, and he beat a washed Woodley. I don't think we learned really anything from that fight. And Usman's had a bunch of fights. Now I knew most of us thought he was going to kind of smoke Masvidal, which he did, and Burns as well. But his striking is obviously improved. And in this fight, I think that's going to be very, very important. Kamaru had the edge on the feet back when they first fought. And now I think that's just grown. Colby's definitely going to have to switch the game up and at least fake takedowns or grind on him or something. Because if this is a straight kickboxing fight, I don't see how Covington's going to win. I won a ton of money on Usman last time. I'm not putting a bunch of money on it this time because I think the line is pretty decent. I did put a unit on Usman inside the distance at plus 145. I do think he's going to beat the shit out of him on the feet. And I mean, not everybody. I know Masvidal is a very flawed fighter, but his stand-up is still pretty good. And there's very few people that can lay him out the way that he did. I know he used to get
that was one of the cleanest knockouts I've ever seen in my life.
Very clean. And I mean, that's what Masvidal wants to do. He wants to box. And I know early on in Masvidal's career, he did get dropped and shit like that. But to be put out like that was very impressive. So
it's almost like the best welterweight in the world fought some journeyman lightweight.
Yeah. I smiled for like 35 straight minutes after that knockout. Like I've never been an Usman fan. And someone commented why we hate Usman or something like that. We don't hate Usman. We weren't talking about him as a fighter or as a person. We were talking about he can't draw. He doesn't draw. And we were talking about how he should stop calling out boxers in their sport. He might as well just call out basketball players to play a pickup game of basketball. I think everyone in this podcast, maybe not Brad, me and Wes and Sean can agree. Usman is probably, if not the best pound for pound fighter in the world, he's one of the best pound for pound fighters in the world.
Oh,
Yep.
Yeah, you can probably go back to our podcast from like 2016 when he came into the
We
UFC.
loved him off
and
tough.
Yep.
Yeah, we talked about him as a future champ back then. We don't hate him. He's just
Boring.
Yeah,
Marty
exactly.
Fake Newsman.
I mean, would you? He's getting
Newsman.
more exciting. That you
Yes,
have to give
yeah.
him. I mean, against Burns, that was an awesome fight.
Yeah,
he got clipped there and came back.
He's
a good striker now.
He's very
Yeah.
exciting when he fights lightweights. Very exciting. He should keep doing that.
So what's going to happen on Saturday, Brad?
It's going to be a very exciting fight. I don't know how much the strategy is going to change from their first fight because both guys had a lot of success. They threw at a ridiculous pace. I'm interested to see how much Usman's striking has actually improved when he can't just throw a jab out there, and it's going to be somebody who's gassed or a shitty striker just eating it. So that's going to be interesting because you know that Covington's not going to go away, and he's going to answer back with a ton of strikes of his own. I'm not sure if anyone is going to wrestle in this fight or be able to wrestle should they choose to. I know that obviously there were no takedowns in their last fight, and there were none even attempted. So that could be interesting. But I feel like the line is too wide for how competitive this fight is going to be. People talk about Usman might be the GOAT, or Sean said he had GOAT potential or something like that. The actual GOAT was retired for like 2 years when he had been Usman's age and already accomplished more. So eventually, even as much of a physical freak as this dude is, he's 34 years old. He's going to start to slow down at 170. That's the age where you start to see it. And I don't know that Covington's the dude that you want to be in there against when that's happening. Not that Usman's taken a lot of damage in any of his recent fights, but as I said, Covington's not going to go away in this fight. So I think it's going to be super competitive. I don't know what the points handicap is for Covington, but that could be interesting given where the money line is. I just think it's going to be very close. I think the over is quite underpriced in this fight, especially when you look at like the 2.5 and the 3.5. I think this is probably going to go 25 minutes or close to it. So that's probably where I'm going to have my money, if anything, on this one.
Covington plus 5.5 is plus 145, Brad.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think it's easy to look at the last fight, and I bet on Colby in that last fight, and how I thought he would win is how he won the rounds that he won. I thought it would just be activity getting in his face, but I don't know if Colby has improved at all since that last fight. He's more concerned with Twitter, videos from MyBookie, a site that's fraudulent and no one uses, that doesn't even pay out, talking shit on all that stuff. He's been passed around gyms. He can't find a home at a gym. And I can't say with any certainty that Colby has improved at all for the rematch. I can say that Usman has improved a shit ton in the last couple of years. If you just take away not just the one punch, that knockout from Masvidal, he is a way better striker. I thought he had the edge over Colby with striking when they fought the first time a little bit. I thought it'd be more activity. Now I think, yes, Colby might still throw more activity, but I think some of that activity, because Colby is very untechnical with his striking. He's literally just in your face, throwing a lot of punches. And I think with how much better of a striker Usman has gotten, I could see him just beating the shit out of Colby, even in the early rounds. Now, Colby could take over more late if Usman's overextending on punches and stuff and Colby has his cardio, but I don't know. I can only picture Usman boxing his face off. That's all I can picture. I don't think this thing sees a bell. I don't think this thing sees championship rounds. I think Colby's going to overextend. He's going to get frustrated. And I think Usman's going to land a shot and put him out. Now, I'm not betting on Usman. I don't want him to win. I find Colby Covington horrible and hilarious at the same time. And I want to listen to his interview if he knocks out Usman. And I don't think it'll happen. I think Usman is going to just absolutely demolish him. But can you imagine a Colby Covington victory interview over Usman? Can you imagine that? Tremendous.
I feel like Colby Covington is going to be spurred on by the victory of Glenn Youngkin. And he's really going to lead the charge into 2022 for the Magas.
Plus, well, zombie JFK, the Democrat, is going to be the vice president for Trump in 2024. Did you know about that? That's the best thing about that whole theory, where not only is JFK back from the dead, but he's turned into a Republican. And he's going to be vice president, which you can't be. You can't be president and then vice president. You literally can't do that. It's not a thing. It's not legal. So he's dead. He's a Democrat, and he can't be vice president. Q's the best.
Brainworms.
If awesome. You made a movie about Q and what they believe, you'd be like, come on, that's a little too far-fetched. Let's be more realistic, science fiction.
We make fun of Scientologists.
We all should. Yeah, but zombie JFK is coming. He's gonna change the Constitution, become vice president, and become a Republican under Donald Trump. Everything's gonna happen. The plan's coming together. Anyway, we really appreciate it. Great fucking card. Great pay-per-view on Saturday. We're very excited. Hi, Josh. Thanks for the comments. Appreciate it. It's gonna be awesome. No one watched Bellator. It's a waste of time. Who cares? So save your Friday night. Hang out with your kid. Oh, these are virgins. Hang out with your friends. Play World of Warcraft. Do whatever you got to do. But thank you for listening, and we will be back next week to listen to the Colby Covington victory speech. Have a great week.